We got a busy show here on Four Verts. Are a lot of trades coming during the first round of the NFL draft? One NFL insider seems to think so. Plus, ESPN dropped a bunch of draft rumors, buzz, things that they're hearing leading up to the NFL draft, which is 2 weeks away. And guys, we are almost a third of the way through the month of April, and last year in April, we picked up 916 new subscribers. We're only at 165 so far, so we're a little behind pace compared to last year. Can we top April of 2025 here in 2026? Let's make it happen. Hit that subscribe button. More draft videos to come, including a 3-round mock very, very soon. Jordan Schultz put this out there yesterday saying the expectation among many NFL teams is that the 2026 draft will be one of the more trade-heavy drafts in recent memory. According to multiple league sources, specifically on the defensive side of the ball, edge, corner, and linebacker are strong and deep, while wide receiver is typically considered to be the most talented offensive position. Several executives I've spoken with believe we're likely to see a flurry of activity in the first half of round one. Additionally, because this specific draft lacks depth in the later rounds, many teams plan to pursue extra day 2 and early day 3 picks per league sources. And I think it's pretty clear teams want to trade down. They want to move back unless they just have a player sitting there that they absolutely love, because I agree with Schultz and I agree with the intel he's getting, is that to me the sweet spot feels on day 2. I'll just give you an example. I got a text saying that from a team saying that they have like 12 first-round grades, and then from like 15 to 75, it's very similar. So if you don't get someone that you feel is one of the true high-level players in this draft, if you can get an extra second or third-round pick and move back from 15 to 27 or something like that, it might be worth doing if you are one of those teams and you'd rather, have multiple dart throws for similar caliber prospects. Now, another ripple effect is you might see teams say, okay, yeah, there's less true blue chip prospects in this draft, but if I can trade up and not give up $1.50 on the dollar, which sometimes you have to do in the first round. Like historically, if you trade up in the first round, especially in the top 10, you're having to give up a lot to do that. Well, that may not be the case in this draft. You might be able to move up, for a pretty even trade. Like if you're Dallas sitting at 12 and you really love David Bailey and he's sitting there at 3 with Arizona, a team that's been linked to trade down, maybe you can do that without giving up another first-round pick, which has normally, to go up from 12 to 3, you'd have to give up an additional first. That may not be the case this year. Tennessee, I think, is a team that could trade down from the 4th pick. I think the Giants make a lot of sense to trade down because after they pick at 37, they don't pick again until 105. So they might want some more capital in the 40 to 90 range. The Browns at 6, yeah, they have 24 as well, but if they need offensive tackle and receiver, they may not view either of the receivers or the OTs worthwhile at 6, so maybe they try to trade down a few spots. I think some teams that could trade up. I think Dallas could be a team that does that. They've got ammunition to do it. The Rams are always looking to be aggressive. If the right guy slips a little bit, I think they would be willing to do so. Detroit, they really need a left tackle, so if a couple of them start to go off the board, they may have no choice but to move up. And then Philadelphia at 23, Howie Roseman's always looking to be aggressive. Plus, if he has the forward thought of, hey, I'm going to get more draft capital for next year by trading A.J. Brown, maybe he's more willing to move up and lose a little bit of draft capital in this draft, knowing he's going to replenish it in the next draft. What will be the first pick traded? Feels like Arizona at 3 is when things could really open up. It sounds like the Jets will pick at 2. It'll just be Arvell Reese or David Bailey. They'll pick one of those 2 players. And then Arizona at 3 is when the floodgates could start to open. So I'm excited. Trades make the draft fun. So hopefully we get a flurry of them on draft night. All right, let's get to some ESPN draft buzz now. There seems to be a upward movement for Indiana wide receiver Omar Cooper Jr., and I do like him. And apparently the Jets love him. Obviously, they're not taking him at number 2, but Peter Schrager mocked him to the Jets at 16 overall. More from this ESPN article suggested the Jets really love the Indiana wide receiver, and I think it's gotten too hot for Omar Cooper Jr. Like, he's going to go in the first half of the first round. Like, there is a gap between the top 3 receivers and him. And yes, Jordyn Tyson is still among the top 3 with Carnell Tate and Mekhi Lemon. I'm not taking Omar Cooper at 16 overall. If you're the Jets and you love him, trade back and get more capital. Like, and if someone else takes him, so be it. Like, he's not worth taking 16 overall. If you take him in the 20s, that's fine. But, like, the Jets aren't good enough as a team to take Omar Cooper that high. He wasn't even the best wide receiver on his team at Indiana for most of last year. That was Elijah Surratt. Now, I think he's probably a better pro prospect, better athlete, better after the catch. Modern offenses love guys who give you a lot of yak. So I understand that, but he's going to go in the middle of the first round. I think that's a little too rich. Okay, the Dallas Cowboys are reportedly targeting 2 defensive players really hard in the first round, and that is Caleb Downs out of Ohio State, the safety, and Ruben Bain Jr., the edge out of Miami. ESPN's reporting that they'd be willing to move up if the right opportunity became. Now, the perfect scenario for Dallas would be one of these guys falls to 12, and that seems to be possible. Downs and Bain are 2 guys that have been sliding a little bit, at least in the public eye, so we'll see if that ends up playing out. But, you know, it could be one of those scenarios where if one of them goes off the board, you know, at like 5, 6, 7 or whatever, maybe then Dallas starts working the phones like, hey, we don't want this other guy to go too, so then they try to move up, with, maybe the Saints at 8 or something like that. Okay, Carnell Tate. Is there a bidding war between the Cleveland Browns and the New Orleans Saints? There's been rumors that the Saints could move up ahead of Cleveland at 6 to take him. The Browns have been linked to him a lot at 6. ESPN in this article said a wide receiver is very much in play with the 6th pick. Obviously, offensive tackle is as well. I don't know if the Saints would be willing to trade up into the top 5 to go get him. If they did that, trading up with the Giants to me makes a lot of sense. Swap 5 and 8 and throw New York like a 3rd-round pick to do it, which the Giants do not have a pick in that range where the Saints could offer them, like I think it's like the 70th pick or whatever the case may be. Again, I like Carnell Tate. I understand why he is separated as wide receiver 1. I'm not trading into the top 5 for him. If I'm the Saints, I'm standing pat at 8. If he gets past Cleveland at 6, I feel good about getting him. I don't think Washington would take him at 7. If some team trades up to 7 and gets him, so be it. I think 8 to me is like the earliest I would take him in this draft. If I'm Cleveland at 6, I'm going tackle or I'm trading down. That's what I would be trying to do, but we'll see. I do think it's clear with all the reporting, all the buzz out there, that Carnell Tate has separated from the rest of the bunch. Mekhi Lemon, Jordyn Tyson, Omar Cooper as the clear wide receiver 1, which I understand. Doesn't mean he should go top 5, though. Okay, speaking of receivers, Jordyn Tyson linked to a couple of teams in this ESPN draft article. The Baltimore Ravens, who selected 14 overall, I would love that fit. And then the Philadelphia Eagles at 23. I mean, if you're Philly, if Jordyn Tyson's sitting there, you draft him and you just trade A.J. Brown on June 2nd. See ya later. Like that would be unbelievable for the Eagles. And specifically with Philadelphia, we've lost the plot with Jordyn Tyson. I understand he's had some injuries in his past. He still has over 1,800 yards the last 2 years. I think he's missed 5 games the last 2 years. So, yeah, 5 games in 2 years isn't nothing, but people act like he's missed, 75% of his college snaps or something like that. Like, I think we're almost, confusing him and, Caleb Banks. Like, Caleb Banks has had more injury problems, has missed more time, and when he's played, he's flashed, but he's been inconsistent. When Jordyn Tyson has played, he's been the best player on the field in almost every game he's played in college and been productive each and every game. So I just think, look, I get it. I understand Carnell Tate going higher. I understand Mekhi Lemon going higher. I'd probably do the same thing, but, if he goes after Omar Cooper Jr., who wasn't even the best receiver on his collegiate team, I'm sorry, I just can't justify that. If he's there for Philly at 23, that is the steal of the draft, if you ask me. Okay, and then what is the worst kept secret in this draft? It appears to be Dillon Thieneman, the Oregon safety, to the Minnesota Vikings. Everyone in their mom's mock draft is having Dillon Thieneman go to the Vikings. In this article, they say it's a seamless transition from Harrison Smith to Dillon Thieneman. Look, he'd certainly be a great fit there with Brian Flores. They do need a safety. It's kind of crazy that this is probably the most consensus pick in mock drafts after Fernando Mendoza to the Raiders at number 1 overall. Like 4 days ago, I would have said Arvell Reese 2 is, but then there's been this flip to David Bailey, so that seems up in the air. But Thieneman at 18 is one of the most commonly picked selections at this point in the draft cycle, and I almost wonder, like, is this just like a super big smokescreen, or is Minnesota just like, yep, we need a safety and we love this kid? So, and I'm sure they do like him, but it almost feels like too obvious. Like, is there something else coming there? So that's definitely something I'm keeping an eye on. Who do you want your favorite team to draft this year? Let me know in the comments of this video. Who is someone you want your favorite team to take? My name is Harrison Graham. We will be back tomorrow with more content here on 4Verts. Hit that sub button. Let's beat April from last year. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see you next time.